What if you had a special cheat sheet that literally decoded every single one of your singles matches and showed you exactly how to win? Up against an aggressive baseliner? No problem. The cheat sheet would show you exactly where to aim so that you could come out on top. How about when you go up against pushers that just get everything back in play? No worries. The cheat sheet would show you step by step where to aim and why so that you could come out on top every time. Well, this cheat sheet isn't a fantasy, it's real, and it's called the Singles Matrix. Just a couple seconds filling it out will give you incredible insights into how to defeat every style of opponent that you play. Here's how it worked for me in a recent set that I played against Kevin. All right, so Kevin and I just warmed up. We just filled out our matrix forms. And this is really interesting because we've now played a couple of matches together, and it's actually not even our first matrix match that we've played together. But the things we both checked off are different. We haven't compared, we haven't looked at each other's sheets, but we know that we have different elements today than it was just a week ago. The biggest thing I saw today during the warm-up was the return. He started doing this in our last match that we played a week ago. He sliced a lot of forehand returns during the warm-up. And so I'm marking that as the big thing I'm gonna be really keeping an eye on. Good ball. No. Kevin's doing what he did in our last match, which was just see if I can just hit shots and challenge me to be consistent while attacking. But he's doing it to a larger extreme than he did in our last match. Frankly, he just really looks uncomfortable and like he doesn't have a whole lot of confidence. Like he's trying to find some rhythm and some timing. He's starting to hit some confident, heavy shots the way he normally would, but it's still definitely not the ground strokes that he's used to being able to hit. I'm gonna say he's definitely kind of off a little bit or just not feeling it. He doesn't have very good rhythm or timing. And what's interesting is the big liability has been on the forehand side. He is slicing that forehand return like I was looking for, and so I served and volleyed off that last point. First time I've served and volleyed. But in that last game, I came to the net 2 other times on his forehand, and he hit really kind of tight, awkward-looking forehands into the net on both of them. And on the serve and volley point, he just crushed it long. So I feel like he's trying to find some feel there. So for me right now, I'd definitely downgrade his forehand to neutral, possibly even weakness, but I think it's situational. From behind the baseline, he's starting to get some feel. But when I rush him and he's having to bend down and step in a little bit, his forehand's a weakness right now. And so anytime I come to the net, I'm gonna start targeting his forehand side.
Too good. Nope. Nope.
I just made 4 and 4 stairs in a row off my forehand, but honestly, I feel really good about how the points are setting up. And I purposefully just kept moving around to keep going for the forehand to his forehand. And that's the big pattern change that I've made here compared to other sets that we've played together. He's leaning really heavy over to his left to get ready for a backhand when I'm coming forwards. And I'm just hitting everything to his forehand side. And so that's crossing him up. Plus, I'm continuing to just have the intuition that he's just not comfortable on his forehand side. So even in rallies, I'm hitting more shots across my backhand to his forehand than I ever would before. But he's just still, he's not feeling comfortable over there. Still, I feel like what I'm reading is pretty much right in the pocket. He's gained a little bit more comfort with his forehand, but it's still not, like he's just still uncomfortable with it for whatever reason. So here on my return game, same thing. Make him play a lot of forehands, play to the backhand every once in a while. If he's gonna hit a passing shot, make him do it on the forehand side. Nope. No.
That's exactly what not to do.
Sorry, that was terrible. Too good. Good play, man. Without having my matrix to refer to that day, it's very possible I would have missed the big opportunity I had against Kevin and maybe even lost that set. But how does this work with lower level players, more beginner or intermediate level players? Well, we put it to the test with 2 players that had never played each other before and had never seen the singles matrix before, and the results were amazing. Based on how you felt in the warm-up right now, how do you feel about your forehand?
Pretty good about my forehand. I can go through
neutral or strength?
Strength.
All right, cool. Backhand, how are you feeling?
I think it might be more neutral.
Okay.
I think it's pretty consistent, but I don't have much of a weapon.
You wouldn't feel good about like attacking off of it?
Correct.
Okay, that would go neutral then. Serve, how do you feel about serve?
Serve.
During the warm-up.
During the warm-up, neutral.
Okay.
Started off, I pulled it together a little more towards
Yeah.
the second half, but
Started off feeling a little tight.
yeah.
All right, that's cool. Now, obviously, like your potential on the serve is, I would assume, is strength.
Right.
But I want to go with like the reality of how you felt like
Today.
just now. Yeah. So we'll go neutral with it for now.
Yeah.
And we could always upgrade it later.
Sure.
I would view these first 3 games as evaluation and confirmation of what we have here.
Okay.
And then once we start to get really firm on like where we're marking things on the evaluation, then we'll really start zeroing in on very specific patterns. But for right now, serve, big target, middle of the box, heavy spin, maximize your forehand, and then attack whichever shot is cross court. So high percentage target, high percentage direction of play, but confident swing, trying to maximize your strength.
Okay.
That's our plan A to start. Nice shot, Mark.
Nice shot.
I have some definite ideas in my head. What would you shift after seeing that first game? Do we have an answer here?
No.
I think we
we do.
definitely have an answer.
He went to a lot of forehands.
Went to a lot of forehands. I'm going to move his forehand from neutral to strength. I don't want to change anything else right now, but this for me is a big one. So we know for sure now that he very much prefers the forehand. Okay. So serve game here, heavy spin, middle of the box, look for a forehand, and exploit the backhand as much as possible.
Okay.
Probably.
Good serve.
Good hustle, Mark.
Good shot.
For me, at least one thing changes here.
My return went down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna downgrade return to neutral. So that means on your next return game, we're no longer trying to like pick on a side.
Right.
Our goal is to start the point. So your goal from here on out, your target from here on out is the center of the court, with like a neutral rally ball, like lots of shape, lots of spin. We're not trying to do anything fancy. We're just trying to get the point started. Yep. And then from there, anything change with like forehand, backhand, strength, strength or neutral for either of you? Same?
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think anything else
Haven't gotten anywhere else.
changes right now.
Yeah.
Nice point, guys.
Good point.
Dude, that was perfect.
Yeah, he said put the ball in play, and that's what I did, and it worked.
Who'd have thought? So, absolutely perfect. Big picture, like the plan is get the point started, try to maximize your forehand, try to maximize his backhand.
Yep.
That's it. And just get the point started, however possible on his serve.
Sure.
Exception to that would be if he like collects himself and gathers himself,
Sure.
and all of a sudden starts putting together like really solid points, and
Sure.
he finds like a little thing to exploit.
Sure.
Then we'll come back to this. But until that happens, You just know nothing fancy. You don't change anything you've been doing. Just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. Serve.
Serve.
It's tough. Did anything happen that should cause us to question our approach?
No. Do the same thing.
I agree. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Stay the course.
I think at this point, yeah, the plan of attack is really solid.
Okay.
Big target on the return. Keep doing what you're doing with the serve. And until he comes up with some kind of counter to those two things,
Yeah.
we change nothing.
Right in the center of the court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Jake would go on to serve out that first set, but before he did, he really opened up to me during that changeover and let me know about the big struggles that he'd been having during his singles play.
This is almost the perfect setup for me. Yeah. So my consistency in match play is my biggest downfall, so it's perfect. Not only can I totally break down, which anybody can do, I have no clue how to get out of it.
Gotcha.
So this is a good exercise for me.
After the match was over, both Mark and Jake were kind enough to hang around for a couple minutes and discuss with us what it was like using the singles matrix for the very first time.
It did. It helped me a lot as far as, just going to like the methodology of it. Okay, look at, each part of his game and think about it, and kind of check it off, his weakness, strength. Because I've gone into a travel team match and played the first set before. My partner's like, God, his lefty serve is a bit. Just like, oh, he's a lefty. That little,
Yep.
because you're, so that part of it, just kind of analyzing the game and breaking it down and thinking about it. And then to your own game, that part of your game that particular day, whether when you warm up, you're thinking, yeah, my ground strokes feel good, my serve is like a little iffy, and just kind of work on that, or my movement, thinking, that. So I think it really helped me. It's something I think I should really use going forward.
100% agree. I mean, the systematic approach is way better than going out there and you lose a game or two and you just think, well, I got to play better. And that's not going to get you very far. This just narrowing it down is an incredibly useful exercise, so super helpful. Yeah, it was a good touchstone, because sometimes if your plan doesn't go the way you want it to, you lose a game, then you might think, well, I got to do something totally different. But no, just go back to this plan that we had. It actually did work a couple games ago when you were doing it. So just go back to that and do that, and it'll work out. But I think it was great for that purpose especially.
Before Jake experienced using the singles matrix, his singles matches were a lot like the player example that you saw in our previous video. Everything was really unfocused, foggy, and confusing. Whenever he was behind in a match, the only thing he knew what to tell himself was just to play better. Incredibly general advice to himself to try to get himself picked up, because he didn't have anything more specific to go to than that. And that's exactly the problem that the singles matrix solves. Just a couple seconds filling it out and you have a precise step-by-step system and framework to follow to be successful against any opponent. And in just a couple of days, you can get your hands on this manual. It's part of a comprehensive system for singles success called Singles Matrix. And I can't wait for you to get your hands on one of these, because it's going to give direction and purpose and structure to all of your singles matches, which is what you need to elevate your consistency and be more successful against all different types of players. As helpful as I'm sure these last 3 videos have been, they're just the tip of the iceberg. So keep an eye on your email inbox, because in a couple days, you'll be able to get this manual in your hands for the very first time.